Guys, welcome back to the channel. This is Stephen from James Glenn Castles with another car review. But before we get started, the intro won't be as long as normal. We'll get on the road because at the end of the day, you guys just want to see what these cars are like on the road. But just a wee quick, short, brief message. Now, beyond 2,000 subscribers, I really appreciate it. If you haven't watched me before, if you'd like to keep up to date with more stock updates and also, more importantly, more road tests, if you click the subscribe button below, I would really appreciate it. Anyway, on with the video. We have today not just a Porsche, not just a Porsche Cayman, not just a Porsche Cayman 987 Gen 2, but a modified Cayman S. I will post the full spec list of this phenomenal Cayman in the description below because genuinely it would take up the entire video if I had to read it out. It sounds amazing, it handles amazing, it stops on a dime, pennies probably more, apt for our country. The looks are subjective because it does have a big wang on the back, which I'll show you in a second. But the previous owner, a very good customer of James Glenn Cars, has spent a fortune, probably not far off the value of the car on parts. So let me show you around, then we'll go on the cold start, and then we'll get out. Stance City, that has got to be one of the best looking Cayman 987 stances I've ever seen. It's not until I'd spent a bit of time with this car that I relearned just how organic and how natural the 987 feels. I have the pleasure of driving a 981 Boxster as my main car, and I absolutely adore it. I love the car, but after driving this, I've got to say it does feel a little bit numb, but again, we'll go on to that in the video. This part of the video, just to let you see what we're going to be driving. Obviously, not forgetting the wang, give you a wee idea of just what it's like on the road, sitting there with the mods. Got a wee peek inside. Wise move, Paul, but upgraded to the sports design steering wheel with the correct setup on the paddles, because the normal PDK steering wheel is absolutely awful, and if anyone has driven an automatic Porsche with the buttons that do the same on either side of the steering wheel, please let me know in the comments if you agree. I'm sure you will. And guys, I actually always forget, this is a two-way thing, so comments below if you want to ask any questions, comments below if there's something that you disagree with, or if you do agree with me, let me know in the comments. I sit down every day and I reply to all the comments. So let's get into the car, see what it sounds like. 97 cold start with the Design Tech exhaust, including manifolds and cats. So the flaps closed. Obviously we want them open. Honestly guys, you're in for an eargasm on this review, and I don't just mean the cold start. It sounds like a racing car. Okay, let's get out. So where to begin? There is so much to talk about the 987 Gen 2 Cayman, and I have actually only just realised that it shares so many parts with the 997, which I am exceptionally fond of, as I have owned one for the last 13 years. One of the main features of the 997 that and you don't actually realise how much you enjoy it until you haven't got it, and that's the steering. I have the pleasure of driving 981 Boxster every day, and I love the car. It's so comfortable, it's quick enough, it sounds amazing, it looks amazing, but I always feel that it leans more towards comfort and ride control than pure involvement. We bought this car last week, and I haven't driven one of these in a number of years, and like that, it makes the 981 feel dull. It it makes the 981 feel big. I mean, this is really small and cosy and intimate inside and quite familiar. And that's because it's like a 997. Now, at this sort of, we'll not go on about price for too long, guys, I promise. And we definitely won't talk about IMS and bore scoring and RMS and all that stuff, because essentially this car doesn't have any of those issues anyway. But that's why they command quite a bit of a premium over the Gen 1 car. But yeah, so there is loads of stuff that's carried over from one of the best 911s. Let's not start the 911 conversation, but let me know what your favourite 911 is, and we can get a wee chat about it in the comments. But so the reason why this car is so good is because it's based on, or it uses so many parts of an already fantastic 911. Now, looks are subjective. I'm not mad keen on the back of this. I don't think it looks aggressive enough, but I absolutely love the front. I think they've really sharp. It's almost like they've gave the 987 a facelift, just a wee nip and tuck, just to make it look like it's been to the gym a few times a week, and it just really, really makes the front so much more pleasing on the eye. So now we are on a nice road. We can put the car into sport, and we can get on with the main task at hand, and that's how it drives. So let's go. We are a wee bit damp today. Need to watch how we get on. Yeah, I think that'll do. It is really, really, really easy to get carried away in this wee car. Now, we are not in a standard Cayman S. As I'm sure you can probably tell, we've got a Design Tech exhaust, which includes the manifolds. It's got a set of sport cats, and it's also got a switchable sports exhaust flap in the system, which for today we obviously have wide open, and it just sounds glorious. There is no drone. We've got an MRN intake, which the lower section of the revs does kind of dominate the noise inside the cabin. Now, could you daily this car? Yeah, of course you could, but it would get a bit much. The ride is sublime. We're on KW variant 3s, which are a fantastic damper setup, especially when you consider that they're about £2,500, which is a lot of money, but I mean, you can spend thousands, and I mean like £6,000, £7,000, £9,000 on suspension, especially for a Porsche. So the way that this car rides on a £2,500 damper, now bear in mind you've got bump adjustment, you've got rebound adjustment, and you've also got high speed bump and rebound adjustment, so you can fiddle away until your heart's content. My advice would be, if you've got something on a really high end suspension, take it somewhere, get them to set it up, and then leave it alone. If you're going to go and do track days, then fine, you can maybe look at an alternative setup. But on this car, I mean, this road's quite bumpy. There's no creaks, there's no groans. I'm not getting chucked about all over the place. But when you put it in a corner, it's so immediate. Obviously, we've got no weight over the front end because the engine's in the back. Not right at the back, it's behind me, it's in the middle, which gives the car a beautiful, beautiful balance. 911s, you know, if you can imagine, when you go in the brakes too heavy, you can get that rotation, which some people feel a wee bit disconcerting. The nose bobs up and down, doesn't bob up and down as much in a Cayman because you've got more of the engine's mass over the front wheels. So it does feel really nice and planted, but it's not boring. Anyway, we're on another nice stretch. Let's give it a send. Man with a brush, showing that he wasn't very happy. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, you can literally feel the texture of the road, and you know something, there's reviews all over the place talking about steering feel, and you can actually feel the tarmac under your fingertips, and you kind of can, especially when you've not had it for a wee while, and you get back in the car with mechanical power steering. It just feeds back so much, especially when you're on a road that's a wee bit wet. We've got a Goodyear tyre on the front and a Michelin on the back. Both good tyres. I prefer it if I had matched tyres all round, but we don't have that today. That engine! On the engine, it's a DFI 3.4. No issues. None. Buy it, use it, thrash it, enjoy it. But that's why they cost about £6,000 to £8,000 more on a premium than the Gen 1 car. I mean, you could always look at it as the Gen 1 car may not blow up. It might not, and the chances are it probably won't. The failure rate is something like 5%. We've sold tons of them, no issues. But when it goes, it's 10 grand. So there's your difference. We've got PDK, as you can probably tell, the gear changes themselves are really, really satisfying, really quick, really sharp. There is a small delay from when you pull the paddle to when the gearbox actually does its stuff. It feels like it's more of an electrical delay rather than a mechanical delay. The gear changes aren't as, I'm going to create a new word here, they aren't as show-offy as DSGs and S-Tronics, so not DSGs and S-Tronics, and you know all these other new model, new fantangled dual clutch gearboxes that are programmed to give you a big flare of revs on the downshift. This just gives the engine enough of a rev flare to rev match, and not much else. It would be nice if it could do it a little bit more pronounced, but it doesn't. But it works fine. A car like this that's now going to be used as a weekend warrior, a manual would be really, really nice. You aren't going to be disappointed with the PDK gearbox. On the steering wheel, I've got Porsche design steering wheel. This was £1,300. The previous owner bought it for the car because the original steering wheel had the horrible left and right buttons, but they both do the same thing. So you've got, it's like up for the back, makes the car change up, and the front makes the car change down, and the other side does exactly the same. Porsche, what were you thinking? Left for down, right for up, end of story. But it is a lovely, really traditional, retro, classic steering wheel. We've got these paddle extenders, which we've seen them on loads and loads of Golf Rs and S3s over the years, and usually they're quite wish-like, kind of naff. These are really, really nice. They mould perfectly round the back of the paddle. Feel really, really nice in the hand. They're a nice length, and also, as I mentioned, they're carbon, of which there is an absolute ton of in this car. The previous owner spent fortunes on it, but didn't lose sight of the fact that he wanted to make it nice to be in. Now the Caymans can come with standard moulded dash, which is a bit kind of mid-range golfy feeling. This has got the extended leather, and it is really, really nice stitching and stuff like that. Auto cruise, and we've also got the upgraded Alpine head unit because the old PCM system now is rubbish. So it's slightly better in the Gen 2 cars, but it's still pretty rubbish. Anyway, let's get back up this road and listen. Suspension just irons out this road, but without breaking your teeth in the process. It's phenomenal. It just highlights how stiff and how involving and reactive this chassis is. Man, this isn't the wet. Talk about confidence inspiring. It's like a mini cup car with that exhaust. By the way, guys, they don't really need it. The standard cars sound pretty awesome anyway. You've got a nice bit of induction note if the car has a standard exhaust, which is the kind of tone that dominates the experience. When you put a sports exhaust on them, you then get all that noise. But then you put an induction kit on with the exhaust, and your ears are just literally bombarded with pure flat six bliss. the Trackhawk last week was a minigun, this is like a sniper rifle, but totally unsilenced. Like this car. There's not much. In fact, I don't really know if there's anything that would improve on it. We've got mega brakes, we've got good pads, Pagid pads, but the previous owner put a GT3 master cylinder in it. So the pedal's really, really firm, which means it's so much easier to modulate. You know, you can have, it's difficult to describe. At first you think, oh, are these even servo assisted? But then you realise that it's so much easier to put a smaller percentage of braking on. Steering position is lovely. You know, everything feels nice and close and safe. It's really like a nice tight cockpit. Clock's right in front of you, big centre tacho. This one's got white fascias. Everything else is dead simple. No driving modes. Drive and manual. Make the exhaust noisy. You used to be able to put PSM on, but now we've got an upgrade with the KW variant 3s. It is literally you and the car, and lots of noise, and lots of fun. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed that video. I have really enjoyed putting this one together. Every week I put a YouTube video out. Please do consider subscribing to the channel. I put a wee thing down at the bottom, so you can click that, you'll never miss another upload. We do stock videos during the week, but the main thing is we do these road tests, and it can literally be anything. So a modified Cayman S this week. It was a 700 brake horsepower Trackhawk the week before that, and then we've had old fast Honda Civics and M5s and everything in between. If you would like to get a chat with me about possibly using your car for the channel, drop me a wee message in the comments below, or message me through Facebook. Other than that, I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.